Hi, my name is Mona Michelle Thompson, and if you've been rolling with me, you know that we've been talking about self-esteem, self-empowerment, self-revolution. That is such a good word, because we are revolutionizing who we are, and not just who we are, but who we were and who we are to become. The journey to life begins with a single step. And so I want to walk this road with you. I want to journey with you as you become the best version of yourself. So we've talked about self-esteem. We've talked about taking a friend along the journey with you. We've talked about selfie and discovering who you are by taking a series of profiles to really get to know you and really taking the time to get to know yourself. But this is something that I have found myself over the last couple of months talking to a lot of women about. What do you do when you have done all that you know to do and nothing is moving? Well, I want to share this with you. There have been times in my life where I've had a list of goals, I've done the vision boards, I've said the prayers to God, I've put all this stuff out there. And I've been saying to people lately, are all of those things aligning with what you are believing for? For example, I talk to a lot of single women who desire to be married, but they leave absolutely no room for marriage in their life. I've talked to women who are believing for children, but they're not doing the things that are necessary to have children. So sometimes we're believing for a new career, but we're not advancing ourselves. We're believing for a house, we're believing for a car, but we're not getting our credit together. So I just want to talk to you today about alignment, about advancing yourself and lining yourself up for the things that you are believing for. Like I said, I'm a person who does vision boards, who does a goal list, who's looking at all of these things and saying, okay, how can all of this work? And also, this is my number one thing that I really want to talk to you about, is understanding the season of life that you're in. For example, I'm an older woman. I'm living in the second half of my life. Well, what does that mean? Mona, what does second half of your life mean? It means I'm over 50. Sometimes it's hard to believe, but I'm over 50, so I'm living the second half of my life. Now, there are certain things that in the second half of my life would be a little difficult for me to accomplish. Like if I had on my list to have a baby. Now, there are 50-year-olds that are making a decision to have children after 50. That's not me. It's just not me. But maybe it's you. Maybe having a child after 50 naturally is not something that you can enter into because you went through menopause. But maybe you've decided, I'm going to adopt. And so that means that if you're going to adopt, you need to understand the process, how it's going to affect your life, how it's going to affect your pocketbook. Do you have enough space for the child? Do you have childcare? Do you have all of those things set up? So for me, there are a lot of things that I have desired to do, and I have to understand my season of life. I have to understand the career that I'm currently in. I have to look at my time management. I have to understand, okay, this is what you desire. Do you have space for it? When I decided to go back to school, I knew that there were things that I would have to give up to make room, not just for taking classes, but for the homework assignment. When you're in a master's level program, you have lots of reading, lots of writing. So those require time. Whatever you decide to do, there's a scripture that I stand by. Faith with work is fully alive. So whatever you're desiring, As you begin to align your vision and your goals and the projected outcome, you have to make sure that your life is in alignment for all of those things. So if you're a single woman, no matter how young or aged you are, if you're desiring to find a mate or to be found, that means that you've got to get yourself out there. Yeah, out there. You have to get on a dating app. If someone slides into your DMs, because Instagram and YouTube and a lot of these social media channels are quote unquote, they're like dating apps. Someone is bound to reach out to you through a direct message. So what do you do with that? Well, you can research people. You can, they can say whatever they want to you, but you can look them up. You can Google search them. You can make sure they don't have past record, or they haven't, they're not from another country, acting to be pretending to be someone else. So you have to do the necessary work for whatever you're believing for. If you are believing for a new career, you need to look at any social media outlets you may have and see how you're represented, because that employer is going to look there. Then you have to update your resume. There are people that things fall into their laps, but for the most part, you've got to do the work. As you navigate through life, I don't care what you're believing for. Again, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a child, whether it's a new career, whether it's education, whether it's to travel, in order for you to do that, there is something that you will have to give up. And it will just be giving it up for a season. I don't want you to think life is all or nothing. Life is lived day by day, week by week, month by month. And so I want you to enter in. I want you to be successful. I want you, as you're on this journey of self-esteem, as you're on this journey of self-empowerment, I want you to learn how to weigh out, as you're making these lists, as you're making goals, as you're, really trying to navigate. You have to look at everything, lay it out, and see if this is what I want. Am I doing the action to get there? And have I left room for me to receive and believe what I'm going after? That is so, so important. There were times in my life that I wrote something down that I was believing for. And I remember talking to different people about it and them saying, well, how are you going to do that? It sounds great, but how are you going to do that with everything else that you have going on? And as I looked at it, I started to say, do I want to put my time and energy into that? Because I don't want to give this up over here. And was that thing that I was trying to do, was it a distraction? See, on this road and on this journey to success, you're going to have to weigh out what is really important. I was watching something recently, and the person said, there are a lot of people who want to be entrepreneurs, but they're not even good workers. Let me say that again. Because this whole buzz, I'm a boss lady. There are a lot of people who want to be boss ladies, but they don't know how to be boss employees. See, because you reap what you sow. So if you're at a job right now and you're believing that you're going to start your own business, or you're embarking on a new career, do well where you are, so that when you move on to your next thing, you can do even better and greater things. And so this is so important. It seems so simplistic, but I swear to you, I talk about this all the time, and I want you to really have success as you're building your self-confidence, as you're building your self-esteem, as you're moving towards the bigger and greater things. You have to remember that your time, you've got to lay it all out so that you can have success wherever you go. Because sometimes we get depressed, we get down, we start beating up on ourselves because we haven't really laid the whole thing out, and we're walking a path that isn't a path to success. But once you begin to understand yourself and let this journey unfold and put the action towards it, then your faith with your action and your alignment will equal success. So join me as I talk about these things, as I talk about self-esteem, self-empowerment, self-revolution, things and ways that will help you become the best version of yourself. I know this is probably feeling like, oh my God, I have so much work to do, but it really isn't. You just take your goals, you take where you want to be, and then you make sure your actions are aligned with it,